Queen Alara stood alone on the ridge of the Silveria palace walls. Below her, the moon of Silveria lay scarred and broken. Craters gouged the surface like dark holes, and jagged metal wreckage littered the plains. The once proud cities now lay in ruin, their towers toppled and their streets silent. She felt the weight of her crown pressed down on her head. Heavier now that her daughter was missing, a cold wind whipped across the ridge, tugging at Alara's long, pale robes. She hugged herself against it, remembering the laughter that used to echo through these courts. She remembered Lyra's bright smile and daring spirit. Lyra had always been brave, but none could guess how deep her courage ran until the day she sent her final message. It had come just before the enemy strike. A short recording filled with static. Lyra's voice had been calm. "Mother," she had sighed, "the enemy is upon us. I will fight, but if I fall, know that I love you and Silveria." Then the transmission cut off and the darkness swallowed her words. For months, Alara had clung to hope. She ordered every scout and ship to search the wrecked battlefields, but no trace of Lyra was ever found. Rumors swirled through the court. Like poison, some claimed Lyra died in combat. Others whispered she surrendered to the enemy. Those cruel tongues reached even Alara's ears. She tried to ignore them, but each day her heart grew heavier. Even the palace ceremonies changed. Once, the court gathered to celebrate victories and feast. Now they came only to mourn. Candles burned in every hall. Priests chanted prayers for the lost. A great mural of Lyra in her shining armor hung in the throne room, lit by braziers day and night. Nobles bowed before it, tears in their eyes, calling for rites to honor a hero gone. Alara sat on her crescent throne, carved from Silverian steel, and listened to the petitions. Each name she pronounced felt like a funeral bell. Each plea for mercy reminded her of the daughter she could not protect. Her advisors pressed her to accept Lyra's death and move on for the sake of the people, but Alara refused. She would not give up on her child, no matter how dark the hour. Late at night, Alara roamed the silent halls. She passed empty rooms, once filled with her daughter's belongings. A broken sword lay on a dusty table. A shattered locket lay open on the floor, its gem missing. Alara's breath caught when she saw a small wooden toy carved into the shape of a silver bird. It was Lyra's favorite. She picked it up and held it close. Feeling the smooth grain beneath her fingers, she whispered to the empty halls, "Lyra, my child, where are you?" But there was no answer. The only sound was the echo of her own voice and the distant moan of the wind. Her hope flickered like a dying star. Yet she refused to let it vanish. She gazed out at the ruined horizon, where the pale sun sank behind shattered mountains, and she vowed to search every corner of the galaxy until she found her daughter Daz. Dawn approached. Alara returned to her chambers. She paused before Lyra's empty seat at her side. She had kept it ready for her daughter, believing she would one day return. Seating arrangements and royal dinners meant nothing now, but Alara kept the tradition alive. She laid out Lyra's favorite meal, sweet spiced fruits and warm bread with honey. No one else ate in the empty courtyard. It was a quiet offering. To a ghost, when the morning bells rang, Alara rose and donned her silver cloak. Outside, the court gathered, their faces drawn with grief. Commanders knelt before her, their armor battered. They brought news of distant stars and silent graves. They spoke of fallen worlds and lost legions. Alara listened, her heart steeled by sorrow and resolve. She lifted her voice and spoke to her people. "We have known loss," she said softly, "but our hope remains. We will rebuild. We will honor those who fell, and we will not forget Lyra. She is our daughter, our hero." The court bowed, but Alara's eyes searched the skies, as if expecting her daughter to descend on a starbeam. The first part of Alara's journey had ended in shadow. Silveria was broken, but Alara's spirit burned brighter than any flame. She would not rest until she brought Lyra home. And if the universe resisted, she would force its doors wide open. For a mother's love could move worlds, and Alara's love would not be denied. Princess Lyra woke in darkness. She lay on cold metal. Her body ached. She tried to sit up but found her arms bound. She drew a ragged breath and listened. Far off, a quiet hum of machines. She blinked. Damp walls closed around her. She did not know where she was. A soft light flickered above. Lyra turned her head toward it. The glow came from a small window. Outside she saw stars and a blue planet. She gasped. She was not on Silveria. She was far from home. She pulled at her bonds. They cut into her skin. She tried again. Still, she could not free herself. Fear rose in her chest. She remembered the battle. She remembered the flash of light. Then nothing. Suddenly a door hissed open. A tall figure stepped inside. He wore a uniform Lyra did not know. His face was kind, his eyes gentle. He held a tray with a bowl of steaming liquid. He set it down on a pedestal beside her. "Princess Lyra?" he asked softly. "I have brought you food. You must be hungry." Lyra watched him. She studied his uniform. It had strange symbols. Her instinct told her he was human. She had only heard stories of humans. Her mother spoke of them as distant allies. Some thought they were savage. Others saw them as hopeful friends. Lyra cleared her throat. Her voice was weak. I am Lyra of Silveria. Why am I here?" she asked, though she did not expect a full answer. The man bowed. "Your escape pod drifted into our territory. We found you unconscious. We brought you here to heal. I am Ryan Walker. I will help you." He smiled gently. Lyra felt confusion. Her mind swirled. "Walker, you are human?" she whispered. Ryan nodded. "I serve the starship Horizon. We patrol these systems. We found you floating in space." He moved closer and untied her bonds. Lyra rubbed her wrists. Pain lanced through them. Ryan offered her the bowl. Lyra took it carefully. The liquid was warm and sweet. She breathed in the aroma. It reminded her of home. She drank. Each sip eased her hunger. After she finished, Ryan sat on a bench. Lyra watched him. She noticed his calm eyes. She felt safe. "Thank you," she said softly. Ryan nodded. "You are welcome. We have a medical bay. You should rest there." He touched her elbow gently and helped her stand. Lyra rose, wobbly. She followed Ryan through corridors. They passed vessels docked. She saw weapons and soldiers. She realized she was among warriors. She felt her chest tighten. Ryan led her into a bright room. Soft beds lined the walls. Machines beeped quietly. He guided her to one bed and told her to lie down. "Rest now," he said. "You need sleep? I will check on you soon." Lyra nodded. Her eyes fell closed. She floated into sleep. When she woke again, the room was empty. Sunlight streamed through a window. She sat up. Her body felt stronger. A nurse stood by the door. "Princess Lyra? You are awake. Ryan will be here soon. Do you need anything?" the nurse asked. Lyra shook her head. She looked around. The bed was soft. The room was clean. She touched her side. A bandage covered a cut. Soon Ryan entered, carrying data pads. He smiled. Lyra felt her heart flutter. "Good morning, Princess." "How do you feel?" he asked. "Better," Lyra said. "Thank you." Ryan sat beside her. He tapped the pad. "Medical scans show you are healing. We will release you soon. But I thought you might like to see some of your homeworld. Is that okay?" Lyra frowned. "I cannot leave until I go home," she said. Ryan nodded. "I understand. But I want you to see where you are before we decide the next steps." He stood. He led her out. The ship's hulls gleamed. Lyra saw humans of all shapes and sizes. Some wore white coats. Others wore gray uniforms. They passed a large window. Below them lay a green and blue planet. Clouds drifted across its surface. Lyra gasped. "That planet?" Ryan smiled. "This is Earth, our home." Lyra pressed her hand to the glass. She felt a pang of longing. Ryan led her to a lounge. Plush seats faced a large viewport. A human soldier looked out. "Commander will see you now," the soldier announced. Lyra followed Ryan to a door. Beyond it was a small office. A woman sat at a desk. She wore a uniform with stars on her shoulders. "Princess Lyra, welcome to Earth. I am Commander Grant. I have your file here." The woman gestured to a chair. Lyra sat. Ryan stood behind her. Commander Grant opened a folder. "Your escape pod was found near the Xenon belt. We picked you up, you sustained injuries but no lasting damage. We want to return you home. Our diplomats are preparing a return mission. She looked at Lyra. Is that acceptable? Lyra hesitated. She closed her eyes. She thought of her mother. She thought of Silveria's ruins. She thought of her own journey. I want to go home, she said. Commander Grant nodded. We will arrange the mission, but first you must rest. Lyra rose. Thank you, Commander, and thank you, Ryan, for saving me. Ryan bowed. I did what any officer would do. But I am glad you are safe. Lyra smiled, though her heart felt heavy. That night, Ryan visited Lyra's quarters. He brought a small bouquet of flowers. Lyra looked up from her window view of Earth. Those are from home, Ryan said. Lyra touched the petals. They were soft and fragrant. They remind me of Silveria, she whispered. Ryan watched her. I know you miss your world, but you have a story to tell. You have hope to carry. He paused. May I stay? Lyra nodded. He sat beside her. They gazed at Earth together. Several days passed. Diplomats arrived. They met Lyra in the council room. She wore simple robes. Ryan stood nearby. One diplomat said, Princess Lyra, Earth values its allies. We wish to help Silveria rebuild. He smiled politely. Lyra bowed. Thank you. My mother will be grateful. I will relay your offer. She glanced at Ryan. Another diplomat frowned. You traveled with a human officer. Why? Lyra met the diplomat's gaze. He saved my life. He showed me compassion. I would not have survived without him. Her voice was steady. The room went quiet. Commander Grant spoke. Ryan Walker is a decorated officer of Earth. His actions reflect our values. We ask that he accompany our diplomatic mission to Silveria to ensure Princess Lyra's safe return. She looked around. Rumors spread later. Some humans felt honored. Others feared giving Earth too much power. On Silveria, news of a human accompanying Lyra angered some nobles. Meanwhile, Lyra trained with Earth's healers. She regained strength. Ryan helped her practice walking. She laughed when she stumbled. He caught her and steadied her. One evening, they sparred with practice swords. Lyra's movements were graceful and strong. Ryan tried to keep pace. He laughed when she disarmed him. Princess, you fight well, he said. She smiled. I learn from the best. He bowed. She touched his shoulder. She saw in his eyes respect and warmth. As the fleet prepared to depart, Lyra stood on the deck. Silveria grew distant. Ryan approached her. He offered a small device. This is a comlink. If you need me, call. He handed it to her. Lyra held it gently. Thank you, Ryan, for everything. He nodded. Go home, Princess. I will meet you there. Lyra watched the stars. Her heart pounded. She was going home, but she was not alone. She would return with hope and with a human by her side. Princess Lyra's convoy approached Silveria. The mighty fleet of Earth ships drifted past the shattered moons and battered rings. Lyra stood on the deck of the ambassador vessel, her heart pounding. Beside her, Ryan adjusted his uniform and watched her with quiet pride. Below them, Silveria's surface spread like a scarred canvas. Ruined cities and broken towers lay beneath swirling dust storms. Fields that once fed millions were empty. Lyra felt a pang of sorrow. She had left this world as a warrior, but now she returned as a diplomat. The ambassador vessel landed in the great courtyard of the palace. The ground trembled as massive doors opened. Silverian guards stood in formation. Their armor was blackened from battle. Their faces were solemn. Queen Alara waited at the palace steps. Her silver robe shimmered in the morning light. She held the family horn, its deep sound ready to welcome her child. Ryan stood behind Lyra, offering support. Lyra stepped forward. Her boots clicked on the marble floor. Ilara's eyes filled with tears as she saw her daughter alive at last. She rushed down the steps and caught Lyra in her arms. Lyra sank into her mother's embrace. She felt Ilara's warmth and strength. For a moment, they stood together as mother and daughter, ignoring the world around them. Ryan bowed respectfully. Ilara released Lyra and turned to Ryan. She regarded him with both gratitude and curiosity. Ryan Walker, she said softly, pronouncing his name like a prayer. Ryan stepped forward. Queen Ilara, I am honored to serve your family. I carried your daughter to safety and brought hope back to your world. Ilara nodded. My daughter told me of your kindness. Today, Selvaria owes Earth a great debt. Her voice was steady, but emotion trembled in her words. As they spoke, nobles and soldiers gathered. Whispers spread through the crowd. Some bowed low, welcoming the princess. Others muttered behind their hands, uneasy at the presence of a human general. Soren, a rugged man with a scar across his cheek, stepped forward. He saluted Ilara. My queen, the army is ready. We await your orders, he glanced at Lyra. And your return is a beacon of hope, he bowed to Ryan. And we welcome our savior. A murmur rose from the guards. Some cheered, others looked away. Ryan nodded respectfully but did not speak. Ela raised her hand. The crowd fell silent. She looked at Lyra. My child, will you share what you learned among the humans? Will you guide our new alliance? She asked. Lyra straightened. She felt confidence blossom inside her. She looked at Ryan, then back at her mother. I will, mother. Earth offered me mercy and healing. They taught me that strength and compassion can stand together. I will help build our friendship, but we must act quickly. Our people need food, water, and shelter. And we must rebuild our defenses in case the enemy returns. General Soren stepped forward. Then let us begin. He turned to the guards. Form a council chamber. We will hear Lyra's counsel and Earth's offer. Lyra led the way, with Ryan beside her. Ilara followed, pride shining in her eyes. As they walked through the palace, courtiers bowed. Voices whispered tales of the lost prince's return and the strange human who came with her. They entered the council chamber. It was grand with high ceilings and tall windows. Tapestries of Silverian history lined the walls. At the far end, Sut Ilara and the council of nobles. Lyra stood before them. She cleared her throat. Members of the court, she began, I bring news from Earth. They offer seeds for our fields, water purifiers, and builders to help us rebuild. They will train our healers and share their knowledge of medicine. She paused, and they will stand by us against any threat. A noble called out, and what of the human? Will he have a place at our side? Lyra looked at Ryan. He stood tall and calm. She turned back to the council. Ryan Walker is more than a soldier. He is a friend. He has earned our trust. He will help us as we help him maintain peace between our worlds. She spoke firmly. Silence filled the room. Then a murmur grew into discussion. Some nobles argued for trust. Others warned of giving too. Much power to Earth. Ilara raised her hand and spoke. We will form an alliance council. Half Silverians, half Earth representatives. Lyra will lead our side and Ryan will speak for Earth. She looked at the council. We will decide together. The council members whispered. At last, the oldest noble nodded. So it shall be. Others fell into place behind him. Elara looked at Lyra. You have done well. Lyra smiled. She felt hope bloom in her chest. She glanced at Ryan, who offered a respectful smile. Outside, the sun shone on Silveria's broken towers. But in the palace, new light shone, the light of hope and unity, carried by a princess and a human side by side. Council work began under a bright Silverian sky. Lyra stood at the head of a long table. Earth envoys sat opposite her, Ryan among them. The Silverian nobles filled the seats on her side. A hush fell over the courtyard as everyone awaited the first meeting. Lyra opened the council. She spoke in a clear voice. Today we begin our work. We will rebuild Silveria together. Earth and Silveria stand as friends. A human diplomat leaned forward. We propose starting with food supplies. Our ships carry grain that can feed thousands. We can plant earth seeds suited for your soil, a noble frowned. Our plains have strange minerals. Will those seeds grow? The diplomat smiled. Our scientists studied your soil samples. These seeds are adapted. They will grow here. He passed a vial of seeds across the table. A Silverian farmer rose. I have tilled these lands all my life. I will work with your experts. We will plant the fields at once. He nodded to Lyra. Lyra turned to Ryan. Ryan, you and I will lead the food project. We will oversee planting and distribution. She met his eyes. Will you help? Ryan inclined his head. Yes, Princess, we will start at dawn. Next, a water engineer spoke. He held a small device. This purifier can clean river water within minutes. Silveria has many rivers, but they are polluted. By war, we can set up purifiers along the banks. A noblewoman raised concerns. Our people rely on river spirits. Some think machines offend them. She glanced at Lyra. Lyra bowed respectfully to the noblewoman. I understand. But our priority is our people's health. We can ask the priests for blessing rituals for the machines. She looked at the engineer. Will you allow our priests to bless your devices? The engineer agreed. We welcome any blessings. The priests came the next day. They chanted over each purifier and painted Silverian runes on the machines. Villagers watched with wonder. A few smiled, seeing their traditions honored. Meanwhile, Lyra and Ryan toured the palace workshops. Craftspeople worked to repair damaged walls. They used earth tools and Silverian steel. Lyra saw sparks fly as metal met metal. She held a hammer and helped shape a beam. Ryan watched her. He noticed her skill. You are a natural builder, Princess, he said. Lyra laughed. I learned from the best. They moved to a medical tent nearby. Earth doctors treated wounded soldiers and civilians. Lyra approached a wounded guard. His leg was bandaged. She knelt and spoke softly. How are you feeling? She asked. He blinked. Better, Princess. The healers are very skilled. We owe you thanks. He saluted her. Lyra helped guide a nurse to adjust the bandage. Ryan stood by, ready to assist. As days passed, the projects took shape. Green shoots sprouted in the fields. Water ran clear from the purifiers. Silverian workshops rang with work. Hospitals bustled with healers and patients during this time. Lyra and Ryan grew closer. They shared meals under a tent. They spoke of their homes. Ryan told stories of Earth's oceans and forests. Lyra described Silveria's crystal forests and twin moons. One sunset, they watched the sky paint itself. Lyra sighed. I never imagined I'd see my world restored. Ryan placed his hand on her shoulder. Your people are strong. And you brought new hope. Lyra looked at him. I could not have done this alone. You showed me kindness. You believed in me. She paused. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan smiled softly. It is an honor to serve. He hesitated. I care for you, Lyra. Lyra's heart fluttered. She met his gaze. I care for you too, Ryan. They shared a quiet moment before returning to their duties. Back at the palace, Queen Alara watched the progress with pride. She spoke to General Soren. Our alliance succeeds. Food and water, healers and builders, we rebuild our world. She gestured to the fields outside. Soon Silveria will thrive again. General Soren nodded. Your daughter led with wisdom. And this human, Ryan, has proven his loyalty. He bowed to Ryan, who stood nearby. That evening, Alara invited Lyra and Ryan to a private dinner. They dined in a small courtroom. Candles flickered. A simple meal of roasted vegetables and spiced fruits warmed them. Alara looked at her daughter. You have done more than I dreamed. Silveria lives again because of you. She turned to Ryan. And because of you, Ryan Walker. Thank you for your gift to us. Double quotes. Ryan bowed. It was my duty. I only ask that our friendship continue. He met Lyra's eyes. Alara smiled. It will continue as long as this alliance stands. She raised her cup. To Silveria and Earth united. Lyra and Ryan raised theirs and drank. After dinner, Lyra and Ryan walked through the palace gardens. Moonlight lit pale flowers. They paused by a fountain. Lyra touched the water's surface. This is home, she whispered. Ryan took her hand. And it will be our home together, Lyra smiled. She felt hope and love bloom. Beyond the war's shadows, new light grew. Part 4 ended with promise. Healing nations, healing hearts, and a future built by two worlds, bound by a princess and a human who believed in each other. The next morning dawned cool and bright. Lyra stood at the edge of the palace terrace, looking out at the fields where human and Silverian workers labored side by side. She felt pride and relief. The crops were young and green, a sign of new life on Silveria. Ryan joined her, carrying 2 cups of warm tea. He handed one to Lyra. She accepted it with a grateful smile. The steam rose between them. "It feels like home again," Lyra said softly. Ryan nodded. "You have done a great thing, Princess. Your people will thrive." He sipped his tea. Lyra followed, his gaze to the fields. Young plants stretched across the land. She spotted a group of farmers guiding earth machines through the soil. "They work well," she said. Ryan smiled. "Your people are good farmers. Our machines only help," Lyra laughed. "Soil is in our blood. We learn fast." She paused. "Mother asked me to lead a new project today. She wants us to inspect the rebuilt water system." She looked at Ryan. "Will you come?" Ryan bowed slightly. "Of course, Princess." They walked down the terrace steps together. The guards fell into formation around them. They moved through the courtyard to a river that ran behind the palace. Along the bank stood Silverian priests and human engineers. They watched as a new purifier hummed. Clean water flowed from its spout into a channel lined with stone. Lyra and Ryan approached. The engineers explained how the device worked. Lyra asked questions in her clear voice, taking notes in a small book. One priest stepped forward. He held a carved wooden bowl of spring water. He poured it over the purifier and chanted a blessing. Lyra bowed respectfully. She touched the bowl and felt the cool water. "The spirits accept this work," the priest said. Ryan turned to Lyra. "Your traditions are beautiful. We are honored." Lyra nodded. "Our traditions guide us. We must honor the old and welcome the new." She smiled at the engineers. "Thank you for your work." They continued down the river. Lyra noticed children playing near the clear water. They laughed and splashed. She felt hope warm her chest. As they walked back, a rider on a Silverian steed galloped toward them. He wore a messenger's cloak. He dismounted and bowed. "Princess Lyra, urgent word from the eastern sector," he said, handing her a sealed scroll. Lyra broke the seal and read. Her eyes widened. She turned to Ryan. "Trouble at the eastern mines. A large group of refugees has arrived. They fled the war. They need shelter and food." Ryan frowned. "We should go immediately," Lyra nodded. "Lead the way." She mounted a waiting steed. Ryan mounted beside her. The rider guided them out of the city gates. Silverian archers guarded the path. Outside, the land stretched wild, dotted with small villages. After an hour's ride, they came to a cluster of tents. Men, women, and children huddled around fires. They looked tired and hungry. Their clothes were torn. Lyra dismounted. She knelt before a young mother holding a baby. "I am Princess." "Lyra," she said gently, "you are safe now." She offered water and bread. The woman accepted, tears in her eyes. She touched Lyra's hand. "Thank you, Princess." "We feared we would not survive," she whispered. Ryan walked among the tents, speaking kindly to the refugees. He assigned some to empty buildings in the nearby town and others to fields for work. Lyra stood before the group. She raised her voice. "People of Silveria, you are our guests. We will care for you. We will feed you, shelter you, and help you rebuild your lives." She paused. "We are one people now. Earth and Silveria stand with you." She looked at Ryan. Ryan stepped forward. "I speak for Earth. We will help all who need it. You are our family." His words brought quiet calm. The refugees bowed. Some wept. Others smiled through tears. That night, Lyra and Ryan slept in a simple tent near the camp. Lyra stared at the dark sky. She thought of her mother and the palace. She thought of the people she had met. Ryan turned to her. "You carry heavy burdens, Princess." He handed her a small pouch. She opened it and found a Silverian charm and a human token woven together. "This is for luck," he said, "for you and for Silveria." Lyra touched the tokens. She smiled at Ryan. Double quotes. "Thank you. I will keep it always." She paused. "Ryan, how do you bear it all?" She asked. Ryan looked at the stars. I remember why I serve. To help people, to bring hope. That is enough. He reached for her hand. And having you by my side helps. He squeezed her hand gently. Lyra single quotes S heart thundered. She looked at him. She saw strength and kindness. She felt hope. The next morning, they returned to the palace. Ilara greeted them. She embraced Lyra and thanked Ryan. You both did well, Ilara said. You saved many today. She led them to the council chamber. Inside, nobles awaited. They spoke of expanding shelters and farms. Lyra and Ryan listened and guided the plans. As the session ended, Lyra stood before them. We have taken the first steps. We will care for our people and rebuild our home. She looked at Ryan, and we will do it together. She smiled outside. The sun shone on Silveria's healing land. Lyra and Ryan rode ahead to guide the work side by side as leaders of a new dawn. In the days after the council meeting, Silveria grew brighter. Fields ripened, rivers flowed, and laughter returned to the streets. Princess Lyra and Ryan rode together each morning to inspect the work in each district. They spoke with farmers, engineers, healers, and citizens. They listened to problems and found solutions side by side. One evening, Lyra stood on a balcony with Queen Ilara. The sky was painted in pale pink and lavender. Ilara spoke in a soft voice. You have done more than I ever dreamed, my daughter. She held Lyra's hand. Lyra looked out at the city. Lanterns glowed in the dusk. People moved about, peaceful and content. I could not have done it without Ryan, Mother, she smiled. He showed me new ways, and I learned from him. He stood by me when I needed him most. Ilara nodded. She watched Lyra. It is a sign of true friendship when two worlds come together. You and Ryan carried that truth. Behind them, Ryan approached, carrying a small wooden box. He knelt before Ilara and Lyra. He offered the box to Lyra. She opened it to find 2 rings made from Silverian steel and a human alloy. Ryan spoke in a steady voice. Princess Lyra, you have brought hope to Silveria and shown me the wonder of your world. Will you accept this gift and wear it as a symbol of our bond? Lyra's heart fluttered. She looked at the rings and then at Ryan. Her eyes glistened. She nodded. I accept, Ryan Walker. She slid a ring onto her finger. She held out his hand, and he placed the second ring on her finger. The rings glowed softly in the twilight. Queen Ilara smiled with tears in her eyes. As word spread of the rings, the people celebrated. Lights were strung across the main square. Dancers and musicians filled the streets. Lyra and Ryan walked hand in hand among their people. They smiled at the joy around them. Amid the celebration, General Soren approached. He bowed. Princess. Queen, I bring news from the border outposts. Scouts report no sign of the enemy fleet. It seems they have retreated far away. Ilara released a sigh of relief. She placed a hand on Soren's shoulder. We have peace now, thanks to all of you, Lyra turned to Ryan. Your world and mine stand together. The enemy will not dare challenge. U.S. again, Ryan nodded. They will see that Silveria and Earth are one, and they will know the price of war. That night, Lyra and Ryan walked to the highest tower. The twin moons of Silveria shone in the sky. They gazed at them, side by side. Lyra rested her head on Ryan's shoulder. I once feared I would never see this beauty again. Ryan wrapped his arm around her. You saved your world, Lyra. You saved us all. Now you have a home on both worlds. Lyra lifted her head. She met his eyes. And I have you. She smiled softly. The next morning, the queen held a grand ceremony in the palace courtyard. The people gathered in thousands. Banners of Silveria and Earth fluttered in the breeze. Lyra and Ryan stood before Elara. Elara raised her voice. Today, we celebrate our new era. Today we unite Silveria and Earth in friendship and peace. She spoke of the journey they had made, the fall of Silveria, Lyra's return, the alliance forged, and the healing work done by both peoples. She announced that Ryan Walker would remain as Earth's ambassador to Silveria, and Lyra would serve as Silveria's envoy to Earth. Lyra stepped forward. She bowed. She spoke in a clear voice. I promise to carry the voice of Silveria to Earth, and to bring Earth's wisdom back to our world. Together we will share knowledge, art, and hope across the stars. Ryan spoke next. I promise to stand by Princess Lyra and Queen Alara, and to represent Earth's respect for Silveria. We will explore new worlds together and ensure that peace and understanding guide our steps. A cheer rose from the crowd. Trumpets sounded, drums beat. Petals rained down like soft rain. As the ceremony ended, Lyra and Ryan walked to a small garden. Behind the palace, white roses bloomed among the marble paths. They found a quiet bench and sat. Ryan took Lyra's hand. "What will you do first as envoy?" he asked. Lyra thought. "I will bring Silveria's story to Earth schools. I will tell children about our moons, our forests, and our strength. And I will listen to their stories of oceans, forests, and cities. I will weave our tales together," Ryan smiled. "And I will help you prepare. I will teach you Earth customs, and you can teach me Silverian songs," Lyra laughed. "Deal. But you must learn to sing in Silverian tune," Ryan grinned. "I will try, Princess. For you, I will learn." He leaned and kissed her forehead gently. They sat in silence, content in their shared dreams. Months passed. A Silverian envoy ship carried Lyra and her retinue to Earth. Ryan waited on the landing platform. He held a bouquet of pale blue flowers. Lyra stepped down from the ship. She wore a gown woven with Silverian light. Ryan bowed and offered the flowers. She accepted and laughed. As they walked into the Earth City, crowds cheered, children waved flags. Lyra waved back, her heart full. That night, Ryan and Lyra stood on a high balcony overlooking the city lights. She squeezed his hand. "This is home." "Too," Lyra whispered. Ryan kissed her hand. "Home is where we are together," he said. Above them, the stars shone, and one pale moon of Earth glowed softly. And so ended the journey of the princes and the human. They had faced war, loss, and fear. They had built a bridge between worlds. They found love and hope in each other. Now, as dawn broke on a new day, they stepped forward together, leading two worlds into a bright future.